So our mood board was a project we were doing for English, and we decided to make a video explaining what we did to make the video and why we did it. So first of all, we decided to make a video of our mood board because we felt that it was easier to portray our the feelings that we feel whilst we're reading a play, as we can include music, effects like the gunfire and bombs in the background to really emphasize the horrors of the war. And we also wanted to include a Wilfred Owen poem, Dulce et Decorum Est, because we felt that it was very powerful, and we thought that it would just be a very good idea to portray the horrors of war again. So, to start with, we had our Journey's End mood board title screen with poppies. We wanted poppies because obviously they're to do with the war, Flanders Field. And it starts off the video with mist rolling in over our mood board, and we made, on top of our mood board, we made a sort of scene which we hoped portrayed no man's land, and there were many pictures stuck on cocktail sticks in no man's land. We also had Playmobil and Lego characters, skeletons, and crosses, because we felt that we wanted to show just how many people died in the war, like the horrific quality of like the memorials that these brave men got, because they just got crosses. There were so many people who died that they just got crosses, wooden planks stuck into a cross formation. It wasn't even like a proper memorial or anything like that. We also had pictures of not just Englishmen fighting, but we wanted to portray that it wasn't just Englishmen who were brave and fought well and had huge losses. It was also all of the countries. So we've got soldiers of all nationalities fighting. We've got some quotes like two armies that fight together is like one large army commits suicide, which I picked that quote because I really felt that it portrayed the uselessness of war. How war never does anything useful or good. It just creates anger and bitterness. So I hope that was portrayed in that quote. There's also quotes of John Steinbeck, and we've got pictures of the crosses, the huge amounts of dead. We've got Wilfred Owen, because obviously he's a very powerful writer in the war, and just more dead bodies showing the horrific casualties in the war. So that's what the top of the mood board portrayed. And then on the sides on the mood board at the front, we have two boards on either side of a little scene in the middle. So on the two boards we had the right board in the video, which was our propaganda sort of board. So we stuck many pictures of the propaganda in it. Poems. We had poems from Jesse Pope, such as "Who's for the Game," which is very it's a terrible poem, not as in like terribly written, but it's terrible to see how it impacts the war, because no doubt it made many soldiers sign up, and it was calling war a game, and it's just horrific how you could call war a game like that. And there's many pictures of like the Britons need you and soldiers eat babies. All propaganda from the First World War, meant to ignite a passion to protect your country, to kill the enemy. A lot of patriotism. Got pictures of Jesse Pope. We also have pictures of poppies and candles, just to create an atmosphere. And going onto the left side was all about the conditions that the soldiers were in. For example, we had pictures of a shell-shocked soldier, the dead bodies, and some key words that we felt really emphasised what it was like to be in the war. So we had like depression and loss, shell shock, waiting, because that's what a lot of it was, I think, waiting and being scared and nervous of what was to come. And that was what broke the soldiers down, I think, was just the waiting and the knowing that in reality you probably weren't going to get out of the situation alive. So that was what I think we were trying to portray in that little part of the mood board. Then at the front, there was, on the floor, there was a lot of different kind of pictures. So we had Wilfred Owen's poem, Anthem for Doomed Youth. We had candles, we had rats, which is a very stereotypical thought when you talk about trenches. It's the massive rats that they faced. We had just pictures of the soldiers, and what we really wanted to show in this section as well is the soldiers' families, how big an impact it made on like the soldiers' families. We've got soldiers with their little kids, and you've got to think that when those soldiers died, it was so horrific for the families as well. Probably even more so for the families than the soldiers, because the loss they must have felt. We've also got pictures of the military cross and ammunition shells, because we felt it made it more realistic. We've got letters written home, and I think that really emphasises how much of an impact it made on families. Like the families were so close, and just to have maybe a son or a husband just killed, and then you just get a telegraph home saying that they'd been killed in action, it would be really, really horrible. We also had the white feather, which was obviously a sign of cowardice in the war. If you didn't sign up, then you would get the white feather. And we felt that was very important to show, because it was emphasising what the feeling of the country was. If you didn't go into war, people would see you as a coward. They wouldn't want to be friends with you. There would be families shunning sons, because they didn't feel proud of them. And I felt that was very it was a very big thing in the war. You wanted to show what you could do. You wanted to make your family proud. And we've also got a picture of the rows and rows of crosses again, which is obviously what showing the millions of people who were killed in the war. And then in the middle we had a little scene we made of Out of Journey's End, which we tried to incorporate, and it was basically the scene at the end of Journey's End when Raleigh well, the body of Raleigh is covered in the debris of his dugout when the dugout's hit by artillery. We wanted to incorporate this scene as we felt it was the most it was the most impactful scene of the play, showing the true horror of the war, in my opinion. And we tried to incorporate all of the debris, fire, and the dead body of Raleigh, but also at the back we had a little picture of Alice in Wonderland, which is referencing to when Raleigh and Osborne were quoting from Alice in Wonderland before the raid. And I think we felt that this was very important, because it really shows how normal the soldiers were. Like, the English soldiers were just the same as any of the other men. They could have, like, before the war, they could have just met and had a drink, but then now they were forced to kill each other, and it's just pretty staggering how the propaganda forced the men to believe that what they were fighting was a monster, when in reality it was just men like themselves. So I think that's what we were trying to get over with that picture. And that's sort of the whole mood board. There were some things that we changed, obviously, because it was quite a big project. We found that we were going to just jumble all of the pictures up, but we found that when we pinned them on, it was very hard to concentrate on what the meaning of the actual pictures were meant to be. Like, it was very muddling, and you didn't really get what we were trying to say with those pictures. Another thing that we changed was the candles. So we thought we originally didn't want the candles in, as we thought they might be a bit, I don't know, chunky maybe, but we thought that they really added a sense of atmosphere into our mood board. We also burnt holes in the pieces of paper and the pictures to show, like, just sort of how much. I think it would be a bit far to say that we were trying to get across how many flames were snubbed out, like the lives were just snubbed out. But I think in a way that's what we were trying to show, and it also, in a way, I think we're trying to show, like, the bombs and the fire that the bombs caused, to try and make a sense of sort of being there on the battlefield. And I'd like to give a shout out to our mum, who supplied some of the pictures, such as the at the end of the video there you can see very clearly the picture of a wife, and our mum had those lying around from the war. They're genuine pictures from the war. We've also got postcards from the soldiers for Christmas, which are also genuine pictures from the war, so thank you to our mum for that. We also got all of our pictures from the internet and printed them out, so it'll be a bit weird to thank the internet, I suppose, but thank you, internet. And yeah, that's our mood board. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.